His name is Josimar Vozinha Diaz. He is 40 years old. He plays for a club you've never heard of, in a league you've never watched. On June 14, 2026, he walked onto a pitch in Atlanta, Georgia, and stopped Lamine Yamal, Pedri, and the European champions from scoring a single goal. Hi, this is Cyrus Fernando alongside FNTG from Nothing to Glory, which finds a human side within the story. Vozinha was born in Cape Verde, on an island nation in the Atlantic Ocean, far from the traditional centres of world football. He grew up in a place where the talent exists, but the road is never simple. There is no straight line from Cape Verde to the World Cup, no giant academy machine built to make the world notice you early. So like many Cape Verdean footballers, his career became a journey. He left home, he went to Portugal as a teenager to chase football. And from there, he built the kind of career that rarely becomes a global headline. Lower divisions, shorter contracts, different clubs, different countries, different dressing rooms, different languages. Cape Verde, Angola, Moldova, Cyprus, Slovakia, and back to Portugal. That was not the glamorous route. That was a working route. The route where football is not always fame. Sometimes it is rent, sometimes it is another trial, sometimes it is another season where you prove you can still help a team. And for a goalkeeper, that life is even harder. Goalkeepers live with isolation. A striker can miss 3 chances and still become a hero with the 4th. A midfielder can disappear for 20 minutes and still change the game with 1 pass. But a goalkeeper can be perfect for 89 minutes, make 1 mistake, and that mistake becomes the match. Vozinha knew the pressure. He had lived it for years. When Cape Verde called him into the national squad, he was not expected to be the centre of the story. He was the veteran, the older goalkeeper, the man whose job was to stay ready even if the world never expected to need him. His club teammates were probably watching from a phone, a laptop or a television somewhere in Portugal. To them, this was Vozinha, their teammate, the man from training, not the man the world was about to discover. That is why the ordinary life matters. Because the bigger the ordinary life feels, the bigger the extraordinary moment becomes. And Cape Verde's story was never ordinary either. This is a nation of about 560,000 people, scattered across 10 islands, off the west coast of Africa. A small country with a huge football heart, and an even bigger diaspora spread across Portugal, the Netherlands, France, Ireland and beyond. Cape Verde's football identity is spread across oceans. It is built from families who left the island and children who grew up between the flags. It is built from players raised in Europe, trained in European clubs and still choosing the blue shirt because somewhere in their family story, Cape Verde never disappeared. That choice matters. Because when a player born in Portugal, France or the Netherlands chooses Cape Verde, he is not just choosing a national team. He is choosing memory, parents, grandparents, language, food, music, a place the world may overlook, but his family never forgot. That is how a small island nation becomes bigger than its population. The squad is built from a diaspora map. Players who have disappeared into the football system came together under 1 flag. And now those players were no longer watching the World Cup from the outside. They were in it. Cape Verde's first World Cup. Not a dream, not of a qualification story, the real thing. And their first test was not gentle. It was Spain, the European champions, a football empire built on possession, technique, control and expectation. For Spain, this was supposed to be the start of a campaign. For Cape Verde, it was the first page of a national history. That is a different kind of pressure. Spain carried expectation, Cape Verde carried representation. Every island, every family, every Cape Verdean who stayed, every Cape Verdean who left, every child watching from Praia, Mindelo, Lisbon, Rotterdam, Paris or Boston, seeing that blue shirt on the biggest football screen in the world. Then the ball started moving. From Vozinha's point of view, the game must have felt enormous immediately. Spain do not attack like a normal team. They surround you. They move the ball side by side. They make you look left, then pass right. They wait for a defender to step out, one midfielder to lose focus, one small gap to open, then they enter. For a goalkeeper, that means constant tension. You're not always diving. Sometimes you're just waiting, shifting, talking, pointing, watching Pedri drift between the lines, watching Rodri shape his body for the next pass, watching Oyarzabal move across the centre-backs, watching red shirts arrive at the edge of the box. Then came the first real test. Oyarzabal found space, the header came in, and Vozinha moved. That save mattered because it told Cape Verde the night was possible. Not easy, possible. For a goalkeeper, the first save can change everything. It settles the hands, it sharpens the eyes, it gives the defence trust, and it gives the opponent doubt. Spain kept coming, then Ferran Torres hit the bar. For 1 second, the whole story almost changed. The ball struck the frame of the goal, bounced back into danger, and left everyone frozen between the relief and panic. Cape Verde survived it, and survival alone was not enough. They needed Vozinha again, and again he was there. That is how pressure builds, not in one dramatic moment, but in layers. A cross, a header, a rebound, a shot through bodies, another Spanish attack, another clearance, another breath. Every time Spain failed to score, the match became heavier for them and bigger for Cape Verde. Then came Laporte, another effort, another Spanish player expecting the breakthrough, and another save. By now, this was no longer just a goalkeeper having a good night. This was becoming something the players could feel, something the stadium could feel, something the viewers at home could feel. Spain were not just trying to score. They were trying to break a man who refused to disappear. Then Lamine Yamal came on. That changed the atmosphere. Yamal is not just another attacker. He is the kind of player who makes the crowd lean forward before he even touches the ball. He receives wide and suddenly the whole defensive shape feels nervous. One defender is not enough. The second has to come. The midfield has to slide. The goalkeeper has to adjust before the danger has even happened. And still, Cape Verde held. Yamal brought speed. Cape Verde brought bodies. Yamal brought invention. Cape Verde brought relief. Spain pushed again and again, but the goal never came. Then came the late Cucurella effort. At 10 minutes, it is a chance. At 83 minutes, it is a test of everything you have left. Vozinha saw it, moved and saved it. And Cape Verde were almost there. The final minutes must have felt endless. For Spain, every second was a problem. For Cape Verde, every second was history moving closer. And then the final whistle came. The match did not end like a draw. It ended like a release. Cape Verde's players ran to Vozinha. They lifted him, they surrounded him, they treated him like the man who had carried the whole country through 90 minutes, and he cried. Not because Cape Verde had won the World Cup, not because the job was finished, but because sometimes football gives a player one night where every quiet year suddenly matters. Every small stadium, every lower league match, every long trip, every country, every contract, every moment when nobody outside his dressing room was paying attention. It all arrived there, in Atlanta against Spain. That is why this story transcended football. Because for Spain, it was a frustrating 0-0. For Cape Verde, it was proof. Proof that they belonged, proof that the island could stand on the same field as the European champions. Proof that the world had to say their name. And proof that a 40-year-old goalkeeper playing far from the centre of football power could still step into the biggest tournament on earth and become impossible to ignore. The story is still not finished. Cape Verde still have group games to play. Vozinha is still on this squad. This World Cup may still have another chapter waiting for him. But whatever happens next, this night is already part of Cape Verdean football history. Spain came with the stars, Cape Verde came with the belief, and Vozinha left with the clean sheet. Vozinha's story doesn't start on that pitch in Atlanta. It starts on the island that almost the world can't find on a map. If this video moves you and you want the full journey from the Blue Sharks' first qualification campaign to the moment Cape Verde walked into their first ever World Cup, we wrote that story. Cape Verde, the Atlantic island that rewrote the history. Everything you need to know about how they got here. The link is in your description. For the tactical blueprint that made this possible, how Cape Verde's system neutralised Spain before Vozinha ever needed to make a save, watch FTG Intel's full breakdown. The story behind the score, the people behind the moment, and the night Cape Verde's secret goalkeeper made the European champions feel human. I'm Cyrus Fernando, this is FNTG, from nothing to glory, and I'll see you soon.